Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Welcome to the Frank Skinner Absolute podcast. It was an absolute. It was an absolute shambles, is what it was.
Absolute disaster. I'm sniggering already at the thought of listening to it.
Yes, we at today's show we had Gareth wasn't there, and he isn't here now. It's just me and him, and we had him on as sort of a link, but which we couldn't make work at
Couldn't
first.
work that.
And then we couldn't make the studio work, and then the guest was late, and then there were problems with the news and with travel, which I think I'll leave you to listen to. But it was, it's, I mean, you know, it'll keep me regular.
Oh yeah.
That show, it was. I enjoyed it in the way that people sitting with blankets around their shoulders on RNLI lifeboats feel elated that they didn't.
People
die
were actually
as they
slowing
thought they were
down
going
outside the studio to crane their necks.
That's
to
because there
look
was
at
no
the
travel
disaster.
news. They couldn't work out where they were supposed to go. Anyway, I think you'll enjoy it if you're the sort of person that likes watching old ladies fall over on the ice. Here it comes.
Absolute Radio.
We were in Birmingham last week.
Oh, I love Birmingham.
Oh yeah, God, we were on air and everything. Yeah, in case any of you are not regular listeners to the show, how come? I went down to Birmingham to be inducted. That's what happened. I was being inducted on the Birmingham Walk of Stars. So we turned up, and the whole radio family came down as well. And my real family and my radio family met.
The two worlds collided.
Yeah, in a terrible, drunken, ponytail-based explosion.
That's exactly what I was like.
Yeah. Now, my brother's got a ponytail, which... I don't know. I've never really took him to one side and spoke to it. I've never took his ponytail to one side either.
Oh, I loved your family.
Oh,
though.
I love my family.
I loved our Nora, your sister. She was brilliant.
Yes. Well, it was great because we all sort of... I'll tell you an odd thing happened to me, which I haven't told anyone about, even my own girlfriend, that happened to me on that day. But a bloke said to me, can I take my girlfriend's photo with you? Mm. And I said, yeah, sure. You know, you do a lot of that all day. You put your arm around a lot of people. I know there's a swine flu pandemic, but I thought, to hell with it. So I was standing with my arm around this woman, and she started feeling my behind.
She didn't.
Not in a casual, patting, joking way, but in a way where I was thinking of either tell her to stop or put on a rubber glove. And... I didn't know what to say because...
Was it sort of exploratory?
Well, put it this way. She sent me a series of results this week. No, but honestly, I didn't know quite what...
Oh, Frank, that's horrible.
I know, I should have gone, oh, law, and jumped. But the boyfriend, I didn't want to...
Did the boyfriend
well, the boyfriend
not realise?
He had no idea. Well, I presume he had no idea, unless it was all some terrible...
Can I just say it's
setup.
bad that you haven't told Kathy and you're announcing this on the radio?
I know, I'm frightened to go home now. But, well, yeah, but I'd forgotten about it, actually.
What a filthy pervert.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but what about this woman? Yeah, so I didn't say anything to the boyfriend because, I don't know how he would have taken it.
Oh, I think that's shocking.
Yeah, I hope that, that she wasn't after my DNA.
Why didn't anyone do that to me all day?
Well, don't be so... No, anyway, so that part of it I found a bit unnerving.
I like seeing you on your own manner, though. It was like seeing Alan Sugar when he's at home in his casual slacks and his chunky knit cardigan.
Does he do that, Alan?
Yeah,
Sugar?
sometimes on The Apprentice you see him in their manner, and you looked quite sort of sweet and vulnerable, I thought.
I imagine he smokes one of those bubbly pipes that you get in the Middle East. And blah, 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 blah. You're fired. Blah, 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 blah. And perhaps when the tobacco, whatever's in there, starts to take effect, he'd start not taking the pipe out of his mouth and going, "You're fired." And they're all going, oh, God, it's like one of the aquamphibians from Stingray, Sir Alan. Yeah, I hate it when he does that. He doesn't do that often. No, it was a splendid day, and they give you a star to keep as well.
So have you got it at home now, then?
Yeah, they gave me Ronnie Corbett. He's in the fridge. Because he looked like he was on the verge of going off. I drove home like a madman. Because he was on the turn, I knew that. No, they give you like a proper marble replica of what will be the paving stone.
Where can I go and see it then on Broad Street? Is it near Noddy Holders? Because I saw his.
No, well, they try and put them in themed places. They're not all together in a lump. So Noddy Holder is outside a 70s themed disco called Flares, which obviously seems to fit. And I asked, they said, where would I like to be? And I said outside the Westwood Ho.
Right.
Do you know the Westwood Ho?
I'm assuming it's a bar.
Well, it's not a woman, if that's what you're wondering. No, it's a pub that I used to go to a punk club in Birmingham called Barbarella's, and before I went to the punk club, I used to go into this pub called the Westwood Ho. So I thought it'd be nice.
Oh, that's sweet.
As I'd often been flat on the pavement outside the Westwood Ho, it's nice that I would be there eternally.
Very fitting.
Yeah, so that's where I'm going to be. But it was a splendid day out and an honour. Because I thought I'd be all ironic and giggly about it, and it wouldn't matter. But in fact, my family were so pleased and proud.
So pleased. And the mayor, I got to see the mayor with his
The
chain.
Lord Mayor, go steady.
And there was a lady mayoress who was wearing lilac and had a patent clutch bag. I liked her.
She was nice, the lady mayoress.
She looks a bit like Princess Margaret.
She told me that sometimes, in their intimate moments...
She didn't really say any of this, did
She did. She said in our intimate moments, I sometimes look to one side and say, I'm having a mare.
She did.
She did say that. And I said, Lord Mayor. And she said, well, that kind of kills the line. So I've had to drop the Lord element. I said, well, the joke works, but I'm not happy with your disrespect for officialdom. At which point she went off in the opposite direction, her handbag wafting behind her like some terrible purple rodder. But he was nice, the mayor, with his heavy
I didn't
chain.
get to feel his chain.
No.
So I didn't mean that to...
No, well, I tell you something about his chain. I examined this chain, and the actual big thing on the end with the Birmingham City crest on it opens up.
Does it?
And it opens up into a golden scroll thing. And when I looked at it, it's got a list of all the Lord Mayors has ever been of Birmingham.
Wow.
So that's quite a nice thing, yeah. And he's not on it yet. You don't go on it until you hand it over, which seems a pity, really, because it'd be nice to have your name on it while you was actually wearing it. Then if you got very, very drunk, or if you was the thing and someone... One thing, if you're the Lord Mayor, you never have to say, do you know who I am outside a club, because you're wearing a three-cornered hat and a chain.
Absolute Radio.
I'm hoping, I could be wrong, but I'm hoping that we have Gareth Richards live on the line from Edinburgh. Are you there, Gareth?
Saturday morning!
Now, people don't know now whether you're there or whether I've pressed the jingle. It is
Saturday
you, isn't it?
morning!
Oh, see, he's just going to do that now.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's me. Hello, how you doing?
Hello,
Hi,
you
Gareth.
sound a little quiet to me, but maybe you're all right on here.
We really
yeah.
miss you, Gareth.
Yeah, me too. It sounds like it's going ever so well there.
Oh, it's going fabulously. I suppose you're sitting there gloating, are you? Yeah, I've actually sweated blood. Really, like the Garden of Gethsemane. My headphones are soaked in my own plasma. What about that?
Well, that's a lovely image.
Good. So, how long have you been up in Edinburgh now?
I came up on Monday, so I've been up since then. And, yeah, it's good.
And you're doing the Comedy Zone, is that right?
Yeah, I'm doing the Comedy Zone, so we've had 3 of them.
We should explain
so
what
far.
that is. It's a sort of showcase for hot new comics, isn't it?
Yeah, there's 4 of us who do it, a compare in 3 acts. It's a great night out, 10:45. Pleasance Courtyard.
Okay, all right. I mean, for God's sake.
Yeah, he's suddenly plugging it like he's a guest. You're not a guest, you're just like me.
Remember, you're internal. It all becomes wrong then. That's the breach of trust of the listeners, I think. Oh, that's like Anton Deck taking votes for a programme that's been decommissioned 3 years earlier. I'm not saying they ever did that. They never did that, Anton Deck. Obviously, they're great guys. Formerly conjoined twins, apparently, and a successful operation. I never knew that. I read that the other day.
And that's Frank's manager who's called John laughing at the idea of someone having professional problems.
Yes. So, how's the show's been going, Gareth?
Yeah, really good. It was a slow start, but I'm getting there. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun. It's good. And I've got another show starting today, my other show.
Are you doing 2 shows? I never knew that.
Yeah.
You don't tell me anything.
Well, you don't ask.
Well,
Do you
no,
miss us?
obviously I don't ask.
Do you miss us, Gareth?
So maybe you'd like to give us the box office number for the other show. Yeah, so
it's called Packer Richards, and it's on at 10 to 5 at the Canonsgate.
Yes. And what is the nature of this other show?
It's me and a guy called Henry Packer, and we're just mucking about, really.
Just mucking about, and people have to pay for that?
No, it's free.
Oh, well, that's fair enough then.
They get their money's worth.
It's a free...
Yeah.
Do people know you're in the hall? Or are you squatters?
No, it's part of the free fringe.
Oh, that's it. So you have a bit of a whip round afterwards, is that
yeah,
what it
we take a collection.
Can I ask Gareth a question that's not related to one of his shows for a second? What's the weather like? Because I want to know what clothes to bring. What shall I wear? What are you wearing?
Actually, it's been lovely so far.
Okay,
but
good.
Edinburgh, you have to be very careful with Edinburgh because it gets very, very rainy, and when it starts raining, it doesn't stop for weeks. So I've had a plan about this.
What?
Right. My plan is to get a poncho.
What?
I'm liking the sound of that.
Terrible idea.
An army poncho, like army men.
Oh, an army poncho. Oh, I had an image of you as the man with no name.
Yeah.
Let me just move to the middle eight.
Like
just for 1 second, Gareth. I'm just going to move to the middle eight of The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, that's better.
Yeah, Laura wasn't sure about getting a poncho.
I don't.
Laura is Gareth's wife.
What was your advice?
Well, it's funny you should say. I had a bit of a poncho incident once in Edinburgh. This is a fabulous link. I went into a shop. It was absolutely throwing it down with rain, and I went into a shop, and I thought I'm going to get one of these plastic ponchos that they were selling, quite cheap. But I'm not on about a military one. This was like just a plasticky thing, like you might see worn at Wimbledon in time before the roof.
An amateur poncho. Yeah,
exactly. And two women came in, two middle-aged women, and they said, "Oh, Frank, we're from West Bromwich." And I said, "Oh, well." I said, "Do you want a poncho each?" They were probably £2. And so I bought them both a poncho, and I think it's the closest I've ever felt to how Elvis must have felt when he bought Cadillacs for complete strangers.
What you should have done is you should just have got a big tarpaulin and put it over the whole of Edinburgh for everyone.
That would have been lovely. You know, when I was a kid, there were vehicles that never, ever peeked out from beneath their tarpaulins in our street. Every house had a motorbike and sidecar covered in tarpaulin that had never moved, ever. It had organically become part of the garden. I mean, this is no time to wander down memory lane.
No.
I understand.
I don't think you guys should wear ponchos, though. I think they'd look a bit post-operative on you two. No offence. You know, I mean, someone like Noel Fielding could get away with it, but...
Oh, yeah, but he's going to be wearing a black crushed velvet one with studs and...
top hats.
Yeah, I've got no time for that. We're going to have some adverts, and then we're going to come back to you, Gareth, so don't go anywhere.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We've had a couple of texts in. Laurie...
A couple of Texans?
Yeah.
What, bragging about stuff, were they?
Yeah, wearing big old hats.
Yeah.
Laurie from Bracknell says, "Dear Frank, I've tried to ignore it since the first show, but it feels strange that when you introduce the show, you do not say the surnames of your co-hosts. Not that I really want to know them, but it is something about their first names. They are not those you can leave hanging like Brian or Rich. Just once would be enough, I think."
Right. Okay. Oh, and who's that?
That's Laurie from Bracknell.
And Laurie's surname is what?
Doesn't give a surname.
Well, my point exactly. Next text.
Well, there's someone a bit
There's
cross.
a Laurie from Bracknell. It's not for me. I think put it round the back. What is it, timber? Take it round the back. Round the back. Sorry,
Me and Emily don't have surnames. Oh, sorry.
Okay, I'm just going to sign this chitty. I'll be with you in a minute. Sorry, you don't have surnames. No. Well, the surname is.
We were raised in a lab.
Oh, is that right?
I'm a bit like Madonna. I don't need a surname. I'm just Emily.
Well, what about Ciccione? What about that?
Oh, it's rarely used.
Yeah.
Listen,
Do you think she was known as Ciccione Bang Bang at school?
I doubt it.
So, someone else has texted him.
And this person is cross with Gareth.
Oh, cross with Gareth? What
Yeah.
is it? Some
that's
terrible
a surprise.
hybrid that happened in the lab?
He says, "I come from Edinburgh and tell the guy who's on now in the festival that it does not rain for weeks at a time. That's rubbish. Tell him to get his facts right, Mr. E. Macmillan."
Mr. E. Macmillan. See, he's just given us a surname. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. E, if Gareth's upset you. Mr. E, is he some sort of local drug dealer? That's what worries me.
He's a relative of Harold Macmillan's.
Is he? Well,
No, I've just made that up.
they've never had it so good in Edinburgh. Well, so you've upset Mr. Macmillan, Gareth.
It rains all the time. Once it starts... Last year it started raining and rained. It must have rained for 2 weeks. You can... I like that text because you can hear... Even though the accent's not in it, you can hear the accent. The angry Scottish accent.
Yes. Well, let's not alienate Mr. Macmillan. I mean, I'm glad he's joining in.
Well, he's starting something. I'll finish it. If Mr. Macmillan wants to start it, I'll finish it.
I know. Don't say that about Mr. Macmillan. Might be one of those red-faced men with beards that stop you in Edinburgh and shout about Bannockburn.
Scottish men.
No,
Yeah.
he sounds like an elderly man who has loads of borders. Mr. Macmillan.
Well, no, I don't know. I think I'm not going to have you ganging up on Mr. Macmillan.
Okay.
I'm going to defend his right to defend his city, the city that he loves, that's in his veins. Those cities where in the old days intelligent young men leaned out of the window of their apartment and shouted, "Leave it by the bins" to Burke and Hare. That marvellous city. So, no, I admit, the last time I was at the festival, which is 2 years ago, it did rain a lot. But they did have Native Americans dancing on Princes Street. And, let's face it, you don't have to be college educated to work that out. Yeah, so Mr. Macmillan, I appreciate... I've been to Edinburgh when it's been lovely and sunny, and we should both... we all agree, don't we? Certainly Gareth up there. It is a very beautiful city.
It is lovely, yes.
Yes.
And it is lovely and sunny at the moment.
Well, there you go, then. Mr. Macmillan is not as incorrect as some might have suggested on this programme. Good for you, Mr. E. I'm calling you Mr. E. I bet that's it. He's some sort of rapper figure. Hey, it's Mr. E. Yeah, I'm singing about Sunshine Edinburgh. It's coming down. So that was Mr.
my goodness.
Mr. E. Yes. There's nothing worse than a 52-year-old man rapping, I always think. Especially if it's gifts. Well, yes, we were talking about luxury items on Desert Island Disc, Gareth. I don't know if you were connected at that point.
Yeah, I was
What would
listening.
yours be? What would yours be?
Well, there's a particular buffalo wing sauce that I really like to make buffalo chicken wings.
It makes buffalo chicken wings.
You
Wow.
put it on chicken wings when you cook them.
This is from your time in the lab. You've obviously studied genetics.
You wouldn't just have that on its
Buffalo
own, though.
wings.
That's a really depressing thing, can I just say?
You'd end up having to have it on coconut.
Yeah, why would you have... I think that's such a weird thing.
I
Let him
drink shots of it.
Okay.
Well, I don't know what you're allowed. Are you allowed a telly? Am I allowed a telly?
I think you probably are allowed. Well, I was allowed girls allowed. I was allowed girls allowed.
And I've got a
Mum.
chimp.
Yeah.
But I am wearing stilettos and false eyelashes. They come as standard.
Yeah, okay. I like that sentence. If anyone just tuned in and they'd say, I've got a chimp, but I am wearing stilettos and false eyelashes, and then straight into the news. That's what I would like to have done. But it's not time for the news. Actually, it's time for the muse.
Absolute
Radio.
So this is the point where the news comes in, but it hasn't come in. Shall I talk about the news? Well, I met Peter Andre last night. He's in the news.
Yeah, he's not happy.
He's done that thing though. You know when you're in the middle of a terrible split and you lose weight.
He looks good.
He's really slim and all that. So that's one of the pluses of a big horrible split.
Although never come out and sound bitter. Be bitter by all means, but don't sound bitter.
I thought he was quite sweet about it, really. I worry now that someone has tuned in for the news and thought, well, this is in the news, but I didn't expect it to be this in-depth about Peter and Katie. I thought that would just be a mere passing thing.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
It's been a morning not dissimilar. If instead of having a band playing on the Titanic, there'd been a DJ, this is what the show would have been like.
So what happened to the news?
The news, we
Is there
decided...
no news?
Well...
The news is so last season.
Yeah.
Is something being covered up?
Yeah, exactly.
Has something big happened? What's happening out there?
Basically, aliens have taken over the capital. And
I thought it sounded odd.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought there was a tension.
Yeah, and we didn't want... I'm actually doing this show with a man who's essentially ectoplasm standing behind me, pointing some sort of ray gun.
You're doing a tentacle point.
Exactly. So I'm doing my best, but to be honest, he smells of space more than anything else.
Well, you're doing very well with it.
Thanks very much. You should think yourself lucky you're in Edinburgh. Mind you, I say that I've only got dangerous aliens. You've got Mr. E. McMillan, who I think has texted us again. You've wound him up, Gareth. That's what you've done.
Well, what he's saying, he says Mr. McMillan again. He doesn't say dear Frank.
Oh, he's dropped. He's not.
Yeah.
He's dropped the E now. He's dropped an E.
Mr. McMillan again.
God, no wonder he's hysterical. Carry on.
He says, for your info, I am not red-faced or a drug dealer or a old person.
Oh, okay.
And that's an ampersand,
Right.
and not related to H. Macmillan. Thanks for your vote, Frank Skinner.
Oh, we see he appreciated me sticking up for him. That's
He might be
good.
being sarcastic, but I think he did appreciate it.
The thing is about E. McMillan, if I may revert to E. McMillan, which is how I know he's a bit like Prince. He suddenly thinks, "Don't call me Prince anymore. I've adopted this squiggle in the losing of the E's. He's now Sol E." But I still think of him at E. McMillan, and the trouble is with E, if I may call him that familiarly, is that I know what he isn't, but I don't know what he is. And I hate that in a person. So what I'd like, if you're listening, E, I'm going to say Eric. If you're listening, Eric,
Ernie.
I would love to know what you are, because I think there's a bit more to E. McMillan than might meet the eye. I think he's an interesting person.
I'm getting a feeling for what he is from the text.
You soon
I'm
will
getting
do.
a
He'll be
feeling
after you.
he's on the way to the studio that you're broadcasting from. So if I was you, I'd start saying nice things about E. McMillan.
Someone said something nice about me.
Did they? What, by text or once? Are you just reminiscing? Something that happened in the late 80s? Yeah, I think someone said something nice about me once. I went an interviewer this week said I looked like Casper the Friendly Ghost, which I could have done without.
Oh, that's quite nice.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Well, affable, but no longer with us.
Slightly ghoulish.
Yeah, so a little bit ghoulish.
But friendly. You are friendly. Declan Fallon says, what a voice. No, not yours, Frank. Emily, your voice is lovely, slightly posh and ever so sexy.
That's good.
Yeah.
Why doesn't E. McMillan say things like that? Why don't we see his compassionate side for a change instead of all that rage?
Frank,
Yeah.
Gareth, E is for
Yes.
Ewan. I'm on my way to Edinburgh.
Oh, my... Oh, so he's not in Edinburgh? Oh, okay. Oh, Ewan,
What?
okay. Ewan McMillan. I like him.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
We were thinking... by the way, Gareth, that we'd have a phone in because we thought, let's give something else the opportunity to go wrong. No. By the way, Lee Mack is on the show, but he was late as well. I wish I hadn't hit that old gypsy woman yesterday for trying to get me flowers. But yeah, we thought the phoning could be, if you were on Desert Island Disc, what would your luxury item be? It's as simple as that. I'd love to know what that was. And we got Garrett's was a barbecue chicken wings sauce. He's a man of small ambitions.
And mine is a chimpanzee.
Yes. And mine is Girls Aloud.
How does chimpanzees go with chicken wing sauce, do you think?
Oh, I think they'd be all right with it. They might, when they first taste it and it's hotter than they thought, go... But I don't mind that. I'm imagining Girls Aloud will be doing that come day 3. So, it's been lovely talking to you, Gareth, but
Yes, a pleasure.
we're bored now, to be honest.
Yeah.
Have fun with Ewan McMillan.
But stay on the line, because I'm going to do something very special. What am I going to do, you ask yourself? Are you ready? I'm going to play the fall.
Absolute
Radio.
You've been joined by Lee Mack.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hoorah!
I'm trying to do that professional thing where I'm talking to you and changing my headphones because the headphones aren't working, I'm afraid.
You probably don't need headphones, really.
The last thing I said before we started speaking was, I'm really impressed that you're driving this desk, Frank. And
Yes.
the first thing I know is that my headphones aren't working.
Yeah, well, I'm
Is there
not,
a connection
I'm not
there?
driving the headphones, for goodness sake. How's that? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but just you, your voice. I'm not hearing it through the headphones.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
you, but slightly
Well, just,
muffled.
look, do you think people at home want to hear a sound check? This is why people sound check before the audience comes into a theatre.
I actually said to my careers officer I wanted to be a roadie, and And she said, why? I said, because I want to. I want to. I want to. We're off! Look at that. There's nothing wrong with the headphones. I just did it to get into that joke.
You rascal! So, Lee, it's lovely to see you. The last time I saw you, I think the last time I saw you was at Heathrow Airport.
Yes, it was, wasn't it? Because I'm just so... Every time I see you, it's a ridiculous time in the morning and I'm hungry.
Yes.
Because we went across Europe.
It's like being your milkman.
You could be a milkman.
I don't know.
Someone told me I look like a 1940s greengrocer. I reckon you look like a milkman. We should do a sitcom, like a confessions of series.
What I like is that you do look like a 1940s greengrocer.
I do. Well, why is it... I have to credit Noel Fielding. That's twice he's been mentioned on your show.
Yeah.
Noel Fielding and Julian Barrett said that.
Yeah.
So I can't take credit for that observation, but it is true.
No, but you can take credit for that face.
For that face. Yeah, they wouldn't be able to say if it wasn't for his face.
Yeah, exactly. It's all very well. They're just commentators.
But why is it specifically 1940s greengrocer?
Because I think you look like you might have rickets.
You know what? I prefer going on Radio 4. He says, having never been invited, I've never been on Desert Island Discs.
No, how do you get on there? It's not what you know.
It's not. It's not being working class scum that gets you on.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, working on Desert Island Discs.
If you come, when you come to Manchester, they just have posh people on Desert Island
They know
Discs.
the likes of us have never owned a record.
Or been on a cruise of any kind. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't go abroad, do we, to islands?
Well, we could be asked on as helpers for posh people. We could build
Like
the
cabin
lean
We should have a
boys.
show called Desert Island Man Fridays.
Exactly.
If you could carry one luxury for somebody else, what would it be?
If you could carry one celebrity from the shore.
So where did you two go away?
We went across Europe for children in need, and we started off in London, and we ended up in the east of Turkey. And on paper, we had the easiest leg of the trip because the idea is that you hand the baton over to. I'm sorry, have you talked about this before?
No, this is
Well, we hand the
this
baton
is
over.
breaking news. We could do with a bit of news on this show, so I'm glad you've turned up.
Well, we hand the baton over, you see, to the next two celebs in inverted commas. You know.
Don't be unkind.
No, I meant us.
Oh, okay, right, so.
Right. And
Yeah.
and that was the plan. And we, on paper, had the easiest leg, didn't we? Because they were like going across Iraq and Iran, all this sort of stuff. We went to Vienna, I think.
Exactly.
And
Paris.
And yet we complained, I think, the most. Because we were up at 4 in the morning, going to bed at midnight, spent all day on a coach.
Yeah.
Never
So-
saw anything.
Did you get on well?
Oh, we did.
We did get on well. That was the one saving grace because I didn't really know. We'd met before, but we didn't really know each other.
We'd never shared a train cabin before, and I mean a sleeper cabin.
Yeah.
It was very
Oh, how
exciting.
sweet! Or Brokeback Mountain.
So
Wow, let's not
well,
push it.
well, I wouldn't. No, I don't remember that bit. But yeah, it was that part of it was great. But basically, we did a 10-day schedule in 7 days, so it wasn't so much a travelogue as a race against time.
Yeah, it was. And you're fitter than me. I realise that. You're 12 years older, but fitter.
What?
You survived. You woke up in a more sprightly way. I'd wake up and was just not happy till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon until I'd had my lunch. And
I'm a lark. You said that's what I am.
you are.
And Lee's big thing was that he had to have a cooked meal at night. You never hear this on a travelogue.
How showbiz am I? I have to have a cooked meal every night.
So we'd drive through Belgrade with like these bomb-bashed buildings and stuff, and Lee would be saying, "This is all very well, but where's the restaurant?"
Where's the KFC? They didn't bomb the KFC, did they? I'll never go.
Do you know that I went to Galveston in Texas? There was me and Adrian Childs and this guy Bryn who works for Sky Sports News. We went on a road trip, not for telly, just for our own leisure. And we went to Galveston in Texas, and our plan was to dine at Hooters. I don't know if you've ever been to
I've
Hooters.
heard of it. Is this
What
the
a
topless
noble
place?
plan.
It's all right. It's like it's saucy ladies in yeah. All they're all fully clothed and all that. Well, not fully clothed. They're clothed. Let's say that.
Oh, they're not topless.
They're not topless.
They
no.
wear really tight t-shirts.
That's what they do. Yeah, and they tend to be big women. But I don't see it as any way exploiting. So we thought we'd get at Hooters.
It sounds like they're not exploiting them enough if they're not topless.
Thank you, Lee. You are a 1940s grocer, and you bring that sensibility to the show.
If you're going to exploit someone, you might as well go the whole hog. There's no point meeting halfway.
Well, I went to, now we're on the subject of topless bars, I'll come back to Hooters in a minute. There used to be a topless bar in Birmingham when I was a teenager, so I went there, and it was the least exciting place I've ever been, because the women, it's daytime radio, but they wore T-shirts with 2 holes in, and they kind of pulled their what's the cleanest word to use? breasts.
Yeah,
They
I think-
pulled them through, so they were slightly trapped. Oh no, it didn't look at all good.
Do you remember that story Johnny Vegas used to tell about? He used to go and get a pint at his local topless bar, and for an extra 50p, they'd put it in the pint.
Oh, no. I think we need to. Anyway, when we got to Hooters, it had blown away. There'd been a hurricane and the entire building had blown away. Now, that's what I call an end to an anecdote.
Absolute
Radio.
Oh, that was The Love Cats by Cure. I started choking just before the end of that. I thought I was
It's probably fur balls.
Yes, Lee Mack is with us. You've guessed right. You're thinking, well, what comic would have done that joke? It could only be Lee Mack, and it is. So, Lee, I should before we talk about anything else, let's get the plugs in.
Yes.
You're about to go.
Right, well, is it not working on you, this electrical stuff?
No. That's what it is. The plugs are in.
Now you know what's going wrong. Get those plugged in, but press a little switch on. That's the mistake you're making.
Oh God, it's been. Oh, I can't tell you. So, would I lie to you?
Yes.
How dare you? Would I Lie to You starts Monday the 10th of August, which is this Monday coming, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
At
Tried to
10:35
get you
on
couldn't get you
BBC One.
Unavailable Skinner. You're
Really?
Was I unavailable?
Unavailable. That's what they say.
comes to
I know what
something.
unavailable means.
No.
It means you didn't want to do it.
Comes to something when I'm on, I'm on Loose Women and not on Would I Lie to You. Well, in case anyone isn't listening, it's a new series starting. It's a great time to tune in and get into it. So, briefly, how does it work?
Well, there's me and David Mitchell are the team captains. New host Rob Brydon sits in the middle.
Now, I very much like Rob Brydon.
Oh, I like him. I like David Mitchell
That's
as well.
quite good. That sounded a bit like it was half you and I. It sounded like Rob doing an impression of you,
Yeah.
rather than you doing an impression of Rob.
Yeah, well, we meet in the middle, me and Rob Brydon.
He's another one who looks a bit like an early greengrocer, doesn't he, from the early part of the century?
Yeah.
He's more like he'd work on the rails, I think, on the railways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in a lowly position. Yeah, not too senior.
A porter.
He'd be officious, but he'd be in a low position. He'd
Yeah.
be very proud of his job.
Yeah,
he'd want a
okay.
promotion.
Anyway,
Sorry. And we give a truth or a lie. You know, you read out a card, and the other team have to guess if you're telling the truth, and it's a fact about yourself.
oh, okay.
You know, so I would say, for example, I used to be the stable boy for Red Rum.
Yes. We'll let Emily then.
Okay.
So Lee Mack used to be the stable boy for Red Rum.
Is she deaf? Did you have to look at that?
No, I'm making it more official.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if
I like
she
the fact you
was
didn't
deaf,
make it any clearer. You just said exactly what I said.
Can I
the
just
least you can
say-
do is change the wording.
if she had been deaf, wouldn't you feel pretty
I
embarrassed
would
now?
actually, yeah. Because you looked her right in the eye, and I thought maybe she's a lip reader.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to ask it again now with hand signals.
Okay.
Lee Mack now, come on, is that true or false?
False.
Well, you're supposed to interrogate. I mean, you're going to play the game.
Oh, okay.
It'd be a very quick half hour.
I don't know. I think it's false. Shall I
That's
tell you?
not stretching it out by going, I don't know, it's false.
We're not stretching it. This is not the show. This is
I
the show
see.
in my
It's actually true.
Let me ask. It's not.
Oh, it is.
Let me ask you a question. I
Well,
don't
go on
believe
then.
you.
Bit late now. We've really ruined this game. What's the question?
Okay.
Are you
so
sure?
Did he like sugar lumps? Was it? Did he? Was it? What? When was it? Was it in the 70s?
It was how old do you think I am?
I don't know.
I was at school in the 70s.
Well, you've established you were a grocer in the 40s, so don't get hoity-toity about it.
I was. He used to like polo mints, actually, funny enough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, didn't like. I remember once Jeff Hurst came into the stables and gave him a polo mint, and I remember thinking, "That's Jeff Hurst. Wow, that's red rum." I didn't know horses like polo mints, all in the same millisecond.
That's a lot of information.
That's a lot
Big
of information to take in, isn't it?
To take in, yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Did he come Did he actually come into the stable, or did he just come in and bang into the door, and you weren't quite sure whether he'd come into the stable or not?
No, he definitely came right in, because I remember looking at him and thinking, I was watching him thinking, it's fantastic. I love the idea of Jeff Hurst saying to him, I scored 3 goals in the World Cup, and Red Rum going, I won the Grand National. Yeah. Top that.
Sporting heroes. But I am going to top that. I'm going to top that with travel.
Absolute Radio Travel with Renault.
Now, as you may have guessed, the travel isn't happening either. Now, can I just say, I came in from Lambeth into Golden Square this morning in the heart of London, a large conurbation in the southeast of England. I have to say it was pretty clear, but that would be, 10 to 7?
I came in about 40 minutes ago, the exact same route. So
Oh, yeah.
That's your flat.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Tailback's gone all the way to the M25 now.
Oh, no.
Avoid that area.
Yes. And if you're driving up to West Bromwich from London this afternoon, keep out of my way.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
We're with Lee Mack, who has already plugged Would I Lie to You, which starts next Monday on BBC One at 10:35, and which is a very, very funny programme. I just wasn't available. That's the bottom line. And you're also going on tour.
I am. And
When does that start?
I love the fact you put 2 syllables in tour. I like it. Tour. You got to tour.
What do you say?
Tour.
Okay.
Yeah, I bet he says poor as well.
Tour, yeah.
Yes, well.
I've got... There's 44 dates. Sorry, 44. I'm going. I'm not going to try and list them. Should I just plug the website, leemacklive.com? Will that be sufficient?
Well, you're opening in Norwich.
I am.
I'll tell you that
December the 3rd.
in case no one had told you. So that's
yes. Oh.
Yeah, that'll be very, very funny indeed. I have to say that I have worked with Lee. Lee has done the Credit Crunch Cabaret with me, which is a thing that I host, and you absolutely tore the place up.
In a metaphorical sense.
Yes, you did. You stormed it. So go and see Lee Mack live and watch Would I Lie to You, but don't ever go on an aeroplane with Lee Mack. I think it'll scare the hell out of me.
Yeah, I am a bit... Well, when I took this... can we talk about this? We've got time.
Yeah, sure.
When we did the Children in Need thing, I immediately
we've got no news, we've got no travel, we've got bags of time.
I immediately said yes to it because I don't like flying, and the part of the rules where you're not allowed to fly, because it's around the world in 80 days without flying. So I said, brilliant, put the phone down. Then remembered that once we'd handed the baton over, I'd have to get back. So then spent this week trying to work out how I could get back on a train from the border of Iraq to London.
You considered, I remember, a 3-day train journey. Was it a 6-day train journey to avoid flying?
Really?
Yeah. And then I went on a course, a fear of flying course, and you get to fly the jumbo jet in a simulator, but it's absolutely real. Everything is so real you won't believe.
And did it work?
It was unbelievable. It definitely helps 100% because they teach you about turbulence, stuff like what it is, and you know you're not really dropping. You think you're dropping in turbulence, don't you? Well, let me tell you. I was like, Frank's got that look as if we're not all this again.
If you want some facts about flying, this is the man.
But it's great. But the thing is, it's so realistic until the bloke said he started chatting to me, and as he was chatting, he turned casually to me and then paused mid-air. So the whole plane just froze mid-air as we were chatting. I was like, "Can we not do this?"
But it was a simulator. Had you forgotten?
A simulator, yeah. You can't pause a plane in mid-air, famously.
But you did say that if you turned all the engines of a plane off, it would be fine.
Yeah, well, that's what happens at the end. When you're landing, you're effectively just turning the engines off, aren't you?
See, I never knew that. They actually turn all the engines off.
They don't turn them off when they're landing in case you need to go back up again. In an emergency. They don't literally go, we don't need these anymore, let's move them off.
I thought they
did. It's effectively, so it's like being in neutral in your car. So if you turn them off, it would probably be roughly the same. I'm saying this without being going on a 1-hour course.
Yeah.
I realise there might be trainee pilots listening going, well, Lee Mack says, so we'll try that today when we're landing at Luton.
But literally, before we went on the plane, Lee would phone up someone for weather conditions, advanced weather conditions.
Yeah, because you didn't phone this show.
Yeah, travel and weather, that would have been very helpful. Anyway, look, watch Lee's show on Monday night on BBC One. Go and see Lee on tour. He's very funny. I love him. We're all happy. Lee, thanks very, very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. And let's hope the next button works.
Absolute
Radio.
Marvellous. Now we have yet another visitor. TV celebrity chef Aldo Zilli has turned up. Good morning, Aldo.
Hello, how are you, mate?
I'm very well, thank you. And you've brought food.
Yeah, well, you know, you keep coming to me for breakfast, so I thought breakfast comes to you this morning.
Yeah, should I? When Aldo says I keep coming to him for breakfast, I'm not begging. I'm not begging for alms at his house in the morning.
In Soho, you know, I see this man begging for breakfast on a Saturday morning, so that's it. But yes. This is a breakfast with a bit of a twist.
I should say that Aldo has got a place around the corner called Zilli Cafe, yeah? And we all pile into there after the show.
We have our brunch
Eggs Benedict.
there, yeah.
And it's lovely. But yes, but you're going through a bit of a change, am I right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This breakfast I brought this morning, it's not your usual breakfast. It's a breakfast with a twist, because we're going vegetarian in one of my restaurants.
Right.
This is the big news that actually nobody knows yet, apart from you now.
So you've broke the news to the nation on our show. Well, this is our first major exclusive.
Absolute radio, absolute.
Because you're a fish specialist, is that right?
Yeah. Well, we're not going to change the fish restaurant. Obviously, that's our main.
Because it's called Zilli Fish. If people turn up and say we don't sell fish,
well, it's a bit of a
they're not
a bit of a
like
downer.
That. Yeah, exactly, exactly.
But Signor Zilli in Dean Street, it's been there for 20 years.
Okay.
And I feel it's time for a change. In a sense that the restaurant it's dated and the customers are still there, but
are they a bit dated as well?
I just feel that the customers are a bit dated. I need a new breed of
Does that
customers
mean
as well. No, you don't come there anyway, so it's all right.
No. Well, we might do now if you're going vegetarian. My girlfriend's vegetarian, so I might bring her in. Yeah.
Oh,
Can we
wicked.
eat the food? I'm sorry to be rude, but it looks so nice.
Yeah, no, you carry on. It's vegetarian sausages, tofu sausages, grilled tomatoes, grilled mushrooms, poached eggs, baked beans, and rye bread. There you go.
You've painted a wonderful word picture for our listeners. Well done.
Fantastic.
So why have you done this? Why have you...
Well, there's a big reason behind this, actually, and he's sitting right behind me. This boy was a chef for me that started the Zilli Fish and Signor Zilli, and then he went off abroad and came back vegetarian.
Okay.
So he couldn't work for me anymore because he said I can't touch fish or meat anymore.
Can I just point out for the listeners there is someone sitting behind Aldo. This isn't a terrible senior moment. We're not all looking at each other nervously.
Sorry, I'm used to doing TV.
Yes, okay. Yes, well, I used to be dear, but we all have to take what comes, basically.
Those were good days.
Yeah, exactly. let's not cry on each other's shoulder.
So anyway, Enzo was my chef then, and he's come back to me now, and I just he cooked me a lunch the other day, and I just fell in love with his creation of different foods, because vegetarian is not just the grilled vegetables.
No,
we're talking a serious vegetarian restaurant. We're going Zilli Green is going to be called.
Okay,
and we're going to have things like quinoa. We're going to have soya, tofu. We have all the replacements of...
Quinoa is that little rice type thing.
Yeah. It's a great replacement for meat. So is tofu. So we're going to have a vegetarian with a bit of a difference. And also it's going to be Italian vegetarian. It's going to be the first Italian vegetarian in the UK.
Now... Is it true that you're mates with Paul McCartney and he was part of your inspiration?
That's another inspiration, because him and God bless her, Linda was their favourite restaurant in London, and when they came there, I always cooked them great vegetarian food, and for his son, vegan, in fact. Right. So we will have some vegan dishes on the menu, and
When you said his son vegan, I thought that was his name for a moment. This pop stuff. Vegan McCartney sounds quite good.
It's quite good. Yeah,
I'd go for that.
I'm going to call my new son vegan.
Have you got a new son?
No.
Is that another thing you're going to break on the air? Not even your wife knows.
No, I've got a little girl that's 1 year old, but my wife doesn't want to stop there, but I actually obviously did. Anyway, let's move on to the vegetarian food.
I'm very interested in this.
So yeah, Paul McCartney was, hopefully, I'm going to write to him, and hopefully he'll give us some help. I'm not talking about cash, but I'm talking about, help in a sense of coming to visit us at least. And
I like when you say, hopefully I'm going to write to him, like, if I can manage it.
It's just the writing that it's a bit of a worry, so I've got to get someone else to do it for me, because I'm not very good at writing English.
Yeah, I imagine you write
if I write to him in Italian...
Don't you use one of those cake decorated things?
That's not, yeah, but I always spell birthday wrong.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I've done that so many times. for people, when they come to the restaurant, happy birthday, and I spell the birthday wrong.
With an F
or the name wrong.
So just to sum up, then, so when does Zilli Green, when is that born?
Zilli Green is being born as we speak. We're filming a nice documentary on it, and we're going to be on air on the 14th of September live.
Okay. So when can people go there and actually eat your lovely green food?
From the 15th of September.
15th of September.
Yeah.
I look forward to that very much. Aldo, thanks very much for coming in. I'm now going to stuff my face while other people listen to adverts.
I want to come back.
Thank you, Aldo, and thank you to the man behind
Enzo.
Enzo, well done, mate.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Yes,
I can't talk, I'm eating.
You know, I can't, you've got a mouthful of sausage, for goodness sake. So,
It's really nice food, Frank. Have some.
it is. I'm eating it. I'm not a big fan of food.
I know you're not. You're a bit weird about food.
No, when I was a kid, I was led to believe by reading about astronauts and stuff that by the time I was 50, I wouldn't need food at all. I'd just be able to have a small green tablet, and that would be my nutrition needs for the day. And I thought that'd be brilliant. You know, lunchtime, you have a small green tablet, you got an hour to yourself.
But don't you like the pleasure of eating with friends? That's part of that's what I love about food.
No,
You don't like that.
I'll tell you, I eat by numbers. I go to the fridge and I see what's nearest the sell-by date, and that's what I eat. So I'll have beetroot and potato sandwich because they were on the turn.
Oh, that's joyful.
Yeah, well, I don't really enjoy food. And obviously, don't get me wrong, Zilli. I mean, Aldo will be listening to this.
Nice.
His green breakfast is absolutely fabulous.
Are you not experimental with food then?
No, definitely. Well, I've eaten all sorts of odd things, but I don't think we've got time to go into that. But
okay.
Suffice to say that I have eaten deep-fried scorpion. But you know what? That doesn't make me a bad person. Anyway, thanks for helping me get through today. I think we got through it together, didn't we? Hand in hand. It was a bit like hand in hand, like when Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid hold that leather belt and jump off the cliff. But thanks very much. Thank you all for bearing with us, those of you who did. I'm sorry to the newsman and the travel man, but hey, you know, leisure time, make the most of it. That's all from us. Good day to you.
Absolute
Radio.